lovelies, it's Nisha. So very often when I sit and do my makeup and I use drugstore product, I think to myself, oh, this reminds me of this high-end product. So the other day I sat down, looked in my stash and did this look with drugstore and high-end products. And I think I found really good dupes. Before I start this video, quickly let me know in the comments if you can tell which side is high-end and which one is drugstore. So all the products on my high-end side come to £334 and all the products on my drugstore side come to £91.29. And it probably could be even cheaper because, as we know, with drugstore products there are sales all the time, depends where you buy it, 3 for 1 and all that good stuff, whereas with high-end you don't get that many discounts and different prices in different places. Okay, let's do it. Okay. So for my foundation I am going to use the new Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. This is pretty new on this side, and I thought that quite a good dupe for it was the Nyx Born To Glow foundation. This is £36, this is 10. So this one is number 7 and this one is medium olive. I am going to use them with a sponge, both of them. So we already know that I really like the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I've reviewed this foundation when it first came out. It's very hard to do half the nose. Let's do nose with the mixture, because how am I going to do this? Now on this side, let's do the Nyx Born To Glow. Oh, the color seems very similar. Take a clean sponge for that one. So I think the Nyx has a bit better coverage, maybe. Slightly better coverage, and it looks a bit more glowy. But the finish is very similar. I thought it was. Let's put a bit more of, maybe I didn't put as much of Charlotte Tilbury's. Charlotte Tilbury's one is a bit thicker as well in consistency than the Nyx. Nyx is a bit more runny. Right, the color is really good. Concealer. So on my high-end side I will use the Lancome Tainted Ultra Wear Concealer, which is £25, and on this eye I will use the NYX Bare With Me Serum Concealer, which is £8.29, around that price. When I bought this concealer, which wasn't that long ago, you know how much I like it, immediately reminded me of this one. So what shade is this? This is in 03. And this one is in beige. I don't know if the color is the same. looks pretty similar. I knew I will find a match because I have 3 different colors of that one. They look very, very similar. Okay, let me show you this close-up now. Right, so if someone else applied this makeup for me, I wouldn't really know the difference. Okay, powder. Let's say we use the Hourglass Veil powder. I don't know how much is the full size because this is just the travel size, but it is expensive. And my new favorite is the Morphe Bake and Set powder in brightening pink. So they are not the same color, but obviously it doesn't really show up pink. It just has very brightening effect, that color. And Hourglass is a bit more yellow, but they both so finely milled that you shouldn't see the difference in color. So let's have a look. So this is the Hourglass, and then now let's do the Morphe. I can see slight difference in color, but you would have to really know to notice it. But I'm talking more about the fineness of this powder. That's not even a word, is it? This is so beautiful and finely milled. I really, really like it. Since I discovered this powder, you know, I did full face of Morphe. I've been using this powder every day. So this powder is £12. Right, as you know, I mostly use mineral foundation powder, loose powder to set my makeup with. I have never really found, I don't even think that Drugstore does many of those. So I'm going to set all of it with Lily Lolo. Then I suppose the test also is quite good to see, because I would set any foundation with this, Drugstore or high-end. And to be honest, this is not very expensive. I think Lily Lolo might be £12. So I'm going to set both of them with that. Mine is in Cookie. Just very lightly. And to me, both sides look exactly the same. Now I would do my eyebrows. I still haven't found dupe for the Benefit 24-hour setting gel. I've tried lots of drugstore ones and I still can't find one that is as good. When it comes to pencils, I already use mostly drugstore anyway. I use ELF, I use Morphe, I use L'Oreal. So I will do my eyebrows off camera. Let's do bronzer. Here I have the Hourglass Ambient Bronzer in Luminous Bronze Light, which, I couldn't believe it, I just checked, retails for £50. This one is so old, I've hit the pan. I've got, you can get the travel size, which is £25. But as my dupe, I am going to use Catrice Sun Lava Bronzer, which is between £4 and £6, depends where you buy it. And this one is in Sunkissed Bronze 010. I've got 2 separate brushes. Right, let's do the Hourglass first. We all love Hourglass. They have tiny bit of glow to them. So does the Catrice. But £50, I'm sure that used to be cheaper. I I just haven't bought it for so long, I didn't remember the price. Right, let's do Catrice on this side. Very similar in tone, the way they look. I love this bronzer. So this is Hourglass and this is Catrice. Very similar. I probably even prefer Catrice. Blush. I have here Natasha Denona Bloom highlighting blush, and that blush is £16. It's a little blush, beautiful coral with sheen. And for my dupe, I chose the Nyx Sweet Cheeks Glow in Daydream. You know, this is, I have 2 more spare ones. Love this blush. They look similar. I think Natasha Denona might be a bit brighter, but on the cheek, I will just have to be careful. Let me compare the colors for you here on my hand. Yes, so Natasha Denona is a bit brighter. The NYX has a bit more pink than coral, but on the cheek, they look pretty similar. 2 brushes. Let's do Natasha Denona. I'm trying to be very gentle because this one is very bright. So there is Natasha Denona. Let's do, can you see? It's very, very similar. I just have to maybe pack on a bit more of this one. I would say that the NYX has maybe a bit more sheen to it. Can you see here? Than Natasha Denona. This blush is like my everything. Now for eyeshadow, I have Charlotte Tilbury's as a high end. So I have here the Desert Haze, which is all matte quad, £40. And here I have by Beauty Bay Nude Matte 9 color palette. So you get 9 here, you get 4 here. Can you see how similar they are? And this is £6.50 and it's really, really good palette. Also I chosen, because they are all matte, if I wanted some shimmer, I chosen the Charlotte Darling, which again has few similar shades to this, but obviously this is all matte, and this one is £45. Then I chose Wet n Wild just for the shimmers, Color Icon in, what is that one? Heart and Soul. So yeah, it's not that similar, but some of the shimmers in here are similar, which I want to use. So that was 45 and that one is £6.29. Okay, so from Charlotte Tilbury, I'm going to take this eyeshadow. I wanted to use this, but I tell you something. This very pale skin color in Beauty Bay palette is so much better. This is a bit pointless. It doesn't show on your skin, whereas that one is really, really good. Okay. I think obviously Charlotte Tilbury will be much more pigmented, but that Beauty Bay palette is very nice and it blends nicely for £6.20. I couldn't believe it. So from this palette I'm going to choose this one. Obviously the colors are not identical, but you get very similar look. This one is actually quite pigmented, although it is a bit darker. See, it blends really, really lovely. I'm having to mix these two a bit to make it similar color, but you get the idea. Now I have here Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize in rose gold, and this retails for £25. And here I have Revolution Beauty, what do they call them? Don't know what they call them. It just, the color is brass, but it is cream eyeshadow. So in color, I see a bit more gold in here than in here, but I think they are pretty similar. So I will use one side for one and one for the other. I don't want to use so many brushes. So here goes Charlotte Tilbury. I love her Eyes to Mesmerize. Very, very creamy. Nice coverage. And now let's try the Revolution Beauty. This one is not as mossy. The Charlotte Tilbury ones is very mousse-like. Yeah, the texture is definitely much nicer on Charlotte Tilbury. This one seems a bit drier. And this one has a tiny bit more gold to it, but they are pretty similar. Yes, I would say that it's very nice, but when you compare it, it's a bit, it's not as smooth as the Charlotte Tilbury's one, but it looks nice. Okay, so let's do top it off with some shimmer. I will use this eyeshadow from Charlotte Darling, and I will use this one, they look sort of similar, from the Wet n Wild. I'm going to use again a different side for each one. Right, here goes Charlotte Darling. And on this eye, Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild, Charlotte. If you look very closely, you can see slight difference, but from here I can't really see it. This one sort of shimmers more because it's got a bit more gold champagne in it, whereas the Charlotte has more of that rose gold. Right, I'm just going to finish off with under eyes with the same shadows that I used on the top. This one is a bit darker, so I will have to use this darker one from Charlotte too. There. Oh, and let's put those shimmery ones in a corner as well. Mascara. As you know, I use lots of drugstore mascaras. There is so many drugstore mascaras that are amazing. I've already compared on a video the new MAC Stack Mascara to the Catrice. and you saw there wasn't much difference. So today I thought I use Anastasia Beverly Hills, which is £26, to my newest number 7 360 Ultra Mascara, which is £14.50. That's still quite expensive for drugstore. You can get cheaper ones and better ones. But I thought because I've used the other one, I use this one. It's still almost half the price of this one. So here goes Anastasia. I really like this mascara. Why I'm comparing these two? Because they are both quite thick and, you know, not like a very watery mascara. You get like a lot of mascara on a brush, so in consistency they are also quite similar. But if you ever wondered what the Anastasia mascara is like, very similar in consistency to this one. Oh, I didn't do bottom lashes on this one. And the brushes are actually quite similar. They're both quite big. Okay, yes, they are very similar. The size of the brush is similar, even the shape, and they are both that thick, slightly gloopy consistency. I actually noticed with this one that the longer I have it, the more gloopy it gets. So I'm not too happy about it. It gets more gloopy than this one, but it is a very good mascara. Right, and the last thing is lips. Right, so today I'm going to compare the Lancome lip liner in Ideal, which is £20, with the Nyx Suede lip liner in Los Angeles, which is £4. This is such a beautiful lip liner, and for some reason this color is so hard to get here in the UK, Los Angeles. I found some backups on some obscure website, but this color is very difficult to get. But I feel, so when I couldn't find this one, because I've got just that much left of this one, I remembered that Lancome looks very similar. Let me compare them to you actually. They are not identical, but... So this is Lancome, this is Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a bit more browny, whereas Lancome has a bit of a rosy brand to it. So we're doing half and half. Right, now let's do the Los Angeles. Can you see? Not much different. When I look in the mirror, they look identical. I'm going to fill in my lips a bit. There. Now, lipstick. So I have here Charlotte Tilbury Dance Floor Princess, which is £25, and here I have the Morphe cream lipstick in Forevs. This is actually quite new and I really like it. Now the colors are not identical, but the creaminess is similar and they look similar on the lips. So this is Dance Floor Princess, and this is the Morphe one. So it depends how the light shines. The Morphe ones I would say is a bit cooler. So and Morphe, this is so hard. So this is a bit more pinker and this is a bit more mauvey, but you wouldn't really know. Right, that's it, my lovely. That's all the dupes I have. Okay, my lovely, so this is the finished look. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell. If someone else applied this makeup on me, I wouldn't know. Especially from the distance, because there might be tiny difference in the eyeshadow. I wouldn't know. Now the foundations look very similar. I think maybe NYX looks a bit more makeup-y here, but I think because this one is so a bit more watery, I maybe put more of this one than this one. They look very similar. The same with the concealer. They both look really good. Everything looks good and very similar. I'm going out later into the world so people will see me and I have no problem. I feel like my makeup looks like it was just done with, you know, one or the other. It doesn't look any different. So I'm quite comfortable to go out knowing that I don't look lopsided and different on each side. You might ask, yes, Nisha, but how do they wear? Well, I have done this look for myself before when I was looking in my stash for all the dupes, and it looked absolutely fine all day. So everything that I've used today on both sides were pretty similar. Again, I think the NYX looks a bit more makeup-y just around here where I have the most texture, but not too much. And also, after a whole day of wearing, the NYX side looked a bit more glowy than Charlotte Tilbury, but it is Born to Glow, glowy foundation. So this one stayed a bit more glowy than the Charlotte Tilbury. Apart from that, everything looked the same, stayed the same. So there you go. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching and stay fabulous. Bye.